Okay, so question. I don't expect. This is the actual site of Twitty's fort, right around here, and it looks like that they're possibly going to move the sign down this way because they gave a built a nice little. I don't know if they're going to make a park out of this or what, but anyway, right around here was where Twitty's fort was, which is kind of interesting because they never called it a station, but anyway.
Oh, this ain't even the exact spot either. It's a mile west of here.
Is it?
Yeah, whatever. You know it's close.
There's a lot of verbiage there.
Other Pass.
Well, I can't read it.
1779 it arrived at Boonesborough.
But this was 1778?
It's saying 79 here.
79. Okay.
79,
But this is the Wilderness Trail right here, or close by.
Well, it's
right?
Close, yeah.
It's either.
If you look at the map, it looks like it's.
Yeah. But we're east of Berea, Kentucky, and you can see the foothills of the Appalachians.
They all fell into the hands of Indians. One native escaped to the fort about 2 hours after they did.
See how they stick these signs randomly, and it's hard. We're actually parked in somebody's driveway, which we'll probably catch hell for. But this is beautiful country down here. See, Berea's over that way. And you can look up this if you're interested in reading that whole thing, but there's a lot of history here. I'm doing this right. We're at Fort Boonesborough, and I believe this is the original site. Oh, this is the first Christian mission. Or, mission. First Christian, something or other. We think this is the original site, but we're not sure. Transylvania Memorial. And that's what we were just looking at. That's the Transylvania. I guess it was named after that company. Memorial, I think.
Yeah, they were trying to name the state Transylvania at one point. I think.
Well, let's just get pictures, and I want to read this stuff.
The Treaty of Fort Stanwix, where the Iroquois gave up Kentucky and West Virginia. They thought it opened the Cherokee, but the Shawnee had other ideas. They refused to recognize the treaty.
Yeah.
Lord Dunmore's war.
So I wonder who they took it over from. You know what? I mean, what tribes? Was it? Yeah. Who did the Iroquois come and say, now this is our land? Who'd they kick off? Right.
So they didn't fucking take their land in New York.
Right.
We'll give you a hot
Yeah. Give us some whatever. Let's see what's over here. We're on the banks of the Kentucky River, I believe. There we go. Building Fort Boonesborough. That's what it looked like originally. Another picture. Artifacts. Now, we thought that they didn't bring nails, but they did bring nails. I gotta read this stuff. I'm gonna turn this off here shortly because I'm missing everything. But you'll get the general idea of what we're looking at. I'm gonna start reading. Haven't been down here in a while. See. Turn it off. So we're at the original site of the fort, which ran this way and this way down to the road. And it tells us there, Daughters of the American Revolution. And the Boone Trail, site of Fort Boonesborough. And monument, 100 yards northeast. There's a bunch of markers here we'll have to go check out. Go inside the So we're not sure about this wall. Of course, it was probably rebuilt at some time, but at this location actually was a stone building. Sent, can't read it. I can't see anymore. So I guess these were the original people who traveled with Boone to make the road, or
Captain
part.
Yeah, I guess it is. Captain Boone.
I would, well, actually, it might say it right here. Site. Now, these were probably the ones that were here during the battle, the siege. Anyway, that looks old. Man, look at that. Wonder how old this guy is. Wow. There's markers across the street. I think I'll mosey on over there, read them. Thank God they got railings here. Shit. Lucky I can still do this at my age. 68, like that's old. It is old. I'm an old shit. There's the Sycamore Hollow that Tom was talking about. The area surrounding this marker was known as Sycamore Hollow. This small group came here and began to suffer rough log huts. Fort moved 300 yards to higher ground. So I guess they dismantled their huts and brought it up here. So they started down by the river, according to this.
Henderson, he was a little smarter, I guess.
Right.
When he was raised
I think I told you this, but they used to call floods freshets.
What?
Freshets.
What?
Floods. And I read that Columbia, which Stites founded, which was the first in the Miami Purchase area. They kept getting flooded out, and they called them freshettes. Nah, me neither. Till then. Okay, right down here. So yeah, so the river's down this way. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to get in the picture. I'm gonna go read what you read about the tree. It's good that people, governments, are smart enough to build these sites for tourism, but and to keep history alive. The Divine Elm, yeah, I bet you they had church service. Yep, I was right. I can't see now though, but 100 persons could be seated. Served as both council chamber and church. I think they were all Baptists. They're all Baptists. Here we go. There's some more verbiage. The worship service was conducted by the Reverend John Litt. Oh, nope, Episcopalian. I don't know what they mean by that. And then this guy, Pioneer National Monument Association, Fort Boonesborough, whatever. Now we're gonna go after this down to see the recreated fort, which I'm assuming is that way. In the parking lot of the replica of Fort Boonesborough. Over this way? Oh boy, look at all those names. Obelisk. Small obelisk. I wonder why they decided on obelisks as being what they use for memorials. Yeah. 200th anniversary. Oh boy. Okay, we don't need that.
Longer than what I pictured it being.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work to build a fort up there.
Hell yeah.
What trees they had to use.
So they had to get up on top to shoot of the cabins.
I guess they put holes in the walls so they could shoot at them?
Yeah, they probably did that, sure.
They have scareboards up there.
Yeah, but in that picture back there, they had them up on top of the cabin. And we're going in. We're going in. This is the presentation area. We're late.
Blackfish was so impressed with Boone that he formally adopted him as his son, with the name Cherokee, or Big Turtle. For some 6 months, Boone lived with the Shawnee, winning the trust and affection of his adopted family, always hoping to return to Boonesborough. One night as he lay upon his bed, he overheard Blackfish and others making plans for an attack on Boonesborough.
Yeah, screwed that one up.
The next day, while the line parted, he made his move. In 4 days, he traveled over 160 miles. Reaching the fort, he was nearly shot by a sentry who mistook him for an Indian.
My arms are getting tired.
It was a bitter homecoming. Boone's family had returned to North Carolina. His warning was suspect, and he was regarded by some as a turncoat.
The reason why I came back is for you all to use your glasses and certain.
I'm gonna have to end this. My arms hurt. This is in the presentation where we just seen the movie. But I'm never gonna be able to get everything. I have to get back. Another Boone trace. Nice looking deer there. You want to get past?
No, I just want to read
Okay.
this.
You don't want to be part of my video, huh?
Charge it.
Oh, that's a nice looking painting. There's Jemima. Were they Callaway sisters or?
Callaway girl.
Miss this one. That's really neat. Here's another one. Reenactment. Guy's got a beaver hat on, Tom. That's what it was all about, wasn't it? The Europeans love their beaver. So this is the officer's cabin. A replica, of course. What's interesting, if they brought a topographer with them, a map maker. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was a map in there. Yeah, they're all the same. Perfect walks. Yeah, you're not going to see much anything different. Chimney.
That's supposed to be feet. You ever heard that one? Never heard that one.
What's that?
This slave. That's supposed to be feet. I wonder what that was. Type that in. Never heard of that one.
It's one of us.
See the opportunity. Yes,
Oh, it's a guy. He was recognized for his daring and
He was known to be real brave and see if it's even in here.
for his acts of
Died on a
courage.
little mountain, yeah. 1782. March 22.
Where
near
was it?
Mount Sterling in was not Montgomery County.
including packing a wounded militiaman over 20 miles to safety. That's interesting. Where were those battles at, though? Not close by, I would
Not
assume.
Sterling ain't too far from here. It's probably been less than a day away if they were back in them days. The battle has long been a subject of controversy resulting from the actions of one of Captain James Estel's officers, William Miller, who ordered a retreat that left the rest of Estel's command to be overwhelmed by the attacking Wyandots. So it was an Indian battle,
right?
And they got killed pretty good.
Well, so this is a mulatto.
See, that's shit we never heard of that.
No, here's a mulatto who's was born of her mother was a slave and her father was the enslaver.
That was a lot of them.
Hilarious. A la Thomas Jefferson, huh? But that's okay. They were only owned. If you seen one cabin, you seen them all. See, they even had lighting. See how they had lighting back in them days? I think this is going to be the same all the way around. Although we should go into blockhouse. At least one, show at least one blockhouse. There's weaving. You seen one, you seen them all. But here's a tavern. Maybe we get a beer. Oh, see, they had air conditioning too. It's interesting. Air conditioning. The Black Horse Tavern. This is cool. I like this. Bear skin. Boy, that was a big bear. Won't touch anything. Do not touch. I will not touch anything. Okay, I'm confused. I'm confused with Blue Lick right there. And then the Battle of Blue Ricks was way up this way. Up that way. Look. I don't see lime. Over here. I think it was over here. I know I seen it. Yeah, see? Blue lick.
Right.
And I can't find limestone up there
There should be-
anywhere.
This is, what river is this?
I don't know.
That might be the Ohio River.
But
That's
see,
the Ohio River.
that's the Ohio.
Or is this the Ohio?
This
is
is
this
the
the Kentucky or
Ohio.
the Licking right here?
I believe this is
This might be the Licking. That's the
from
Kentucky. Wait a minute.
Cincinnati.
This is the Kentucky River. This
Oh,
is
it
the
is?
Kentucky
Well, where
River.
in hell's the Licking? Oh, there's the Licking, and Cincinnati would be there. Maysville
up
would be
there
way
somewhere.
up there.
Somewhere
And
up there.
and then below there
They got
is
Blue Lick
is
below the
Blue
Kentucky
Licks.
River.
I know. So I guess there was
They might have just
there was
named
different
licks.
licks.
There was, like I say, they're all over Kentucky.
Right,
They made-
right.
And later the other ones.
But wasn't there a
Salt Lick.
isn't that didn't Boone have something around Blue Licks happen to him?
Well, that day he went to Mays Lick. Well,
Yeah.
Battle Blue Lick on it. Mays Lick was another place this
Yeah.
side of Blue Lick. That's where he went to get salt. And when they never
Okay.
come back, where his brother got killed.
Okay.
The word, if this is the Kentucky River,
Right.
Boonesborough should be a battlefield.
Yeah. We found
just
it.
another
Tom
lick.
found it. And there's Red River Gorge. Red River Gorge.
Yeah.
But where did we see that?
So it's a cruise.
Right.
What are you looking for now?
Oh, where was that at? The Blue Lick. Oh, right here. Right
Yeah,
where the
right about
cane. Yeah. There we go. And then you go up, and then limestone. Doesn't have limestone on here though. Do you see limestone?
not
It should be
see
right
limestone.
north, direct north.
Should be somewhere in this
Yeah,
area.
right.
This is the other river.
Right.
It was this side.
Yeah.
Might be over this way a little bit.
Right.
I see it there.
Yep. It doesn't have it on there. So Tom and I are having the discussion on weaving and spinning and what they used and what for. So here is flax. And I would assume they didn't make clothing out of flax. Probably just like blankets and stuff like that. And then, excuse me, and then over here was spinning for wool to make clothes, I would assume. Tells you all about that. And air conditioned, of course. It's pretty neat here, though. I like it. Nope. Nope, that's locked. Daniel Boone. Oh, Daniel Boone memorabilia. Oh, how cool. Oh, there you the 1950s. That was before our time, wasn't it? That was our older siblings. Mm-hmm. Boone pinto beans. Was it Davy that killed the bar when he was only 3? That was Davy. Was it? Was it?
They say David had old Bessie.
Uh-huh.
Dean Boone killed the bar on this street.
When he was only 3?
1760 or something.
Oh, I thought that was Davy, but who cares? There's a movie. Who was in it? Nobody. Oh, Lon Chaney. It's the only one I've ever heard of. He's probably played an Indian. That is the famous picture right there.
Comes through the gap.
Yep, right there. Yeah, this. Yeah, no, it's nothing of import. Of import. This is the Enterprise, making Daniel Boone Enterprise with merchandise, merchandising. I didn't know there was a United States ship named after Daniel, though. Oh, that's pretty neat. I like that. They got toys, but none that I played with. Mark's had a what? A Daniel Boone.
For my grandkids.
Yeah. Nah. You can find them online. You can get Mark's toys. Yeah, they reissued Mark's toys along with the fort and everything. I had that numerous times. What was it? What the name of it? I don't remember the name of it though. Yeah. That's the beach.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty neat.
Really?
Yeah, I found this old file here that I had trimmed off, I guess, from a previous project or something.
Did they make their own tools here, or did they repair them?
It was so between 1775 and 1791, the entirety of the iron making industry was back east across the mountains.
Makes sense.
This was a very iron-rich area, and once we built the first iron furnaces started being built in 1791.
Okay.
Then you'd have an abundance.
Okay.
The mindset set for a blacksmith shop back east would be production. Mindset for a blacksmith shop on the frontier would be repair,
Okay.
recycle, and
That's what I
trying to
figured.
maximize what you actually brought out with you.
They made
Gotcha.
their own bullets. They have it too, didn't they, out here? Didn't they melt metal and make their own
Yeah,
bullets
so
for
the gunsmith can make a bullet mold for the end user of the flintlock, and then they can form out and make their own.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, what I'd like to actually do with this is, first of all, I wanted to make sure that when I knock these off, that it would make good sparks. But it's actually hardened to a point where I could leave it as is. But I actually want to punch 2 holes in it and actually fashion a leather pad in between and copper rivet a little handle for in between each side, and then I'll basically, after I punch the holes in, I'll re-harden it, and then I'll actually fashion like a traditional handle. Because this can technically work just fine as a flint and steel like this, but I saw an incredibly cool one made out of a file like this, where it had a leather. Actually, had this leather handle where you could when you unsnapped it, you could fold it back around and just use it as a handle, and then you can fold it back up into the leather. So I'm going to do something similar, where I'm going to make a little leather handle with this. And so in order to do that, at this point, I need to keep the steel up and work on punching a hole in it. But yeah, so I'm sure there's some things that they did a little bit where they had to produce some, like especially for the construction of the fort, building like hinge straps and hinges and stuff like that.
So we seen a sign that's they actually used nails.
What's that?
They actually used nails.
Yeah, we had
They
nails.
found nails.
Yeah, we had nails.
Yeah.
See,
Right.
back east there was actually production nails, basically factory cut nails.
Right.
They had in the early 1770s and maybe even late 1760s, they had invented a machine to make cut nails. And
Oh,
so-
really?
So, like for example, there's correspondence when George Washington was repairing and building Mount Vernon, that even though he had a blacksmith shop, he had nails imported because it was less costly for him to actually purchase a
Gotcha.
large group of nails
Yeah.
in bulk than actually pay for the cost of the operations to
Right.
produce them himself. Because professional nailers could do thousands in a week.
Yeah.
Versus someone like me could maybe only do a couple hundred.
Right. Yeah. We were up at Fort Louisbourg up in Nova Scotia and watched them actually make nails.
It's really fascinating, all of the full variety of styles and applications of nails.
Yeah.
I have this little display. It's missing a couple nails, but it's describing all the distinct
Yeah,
nail
they-
heads and different usages.
Right. What I recall, they called it like a rose head. Does that sound right?
I don't know. I'm not
This was
sure. I'm
years
not
and
an
years
expert
ago.
in nails. I don't do many nails.
Many moons ago.
But I know that you had to have nails. They shoot a lot of their livestock, a lot of their cattle. And then sometimes, even though the horses weren't shot out here all the time, there would be certain circumstances, even on the frontier, that the traction needs were such where you did want horseshoes, and so there'd be a demand for those clinch nails and all that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Uh,
So how hot does that get?
The forge can get anywhere between red hot and white hot, so it can get between 1,000 to 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Gotcha.
I only try to run it at around yellow hot, so I only try to run the forge around 2,000.
Okay.
What'd you put in it, Brian? What was that? The black? Is that like charcoal or?
It runs off coal and charcoal, or either. You can use it interchangeably. Yeah, this is charcoal. It just, regular wood just doesn't get hot enough.
Yeah.
Alright.
Whoa.
So we punched 2 holes.
You can get a hole through that once it gets hot enough, huh? That's amazing.
Got one.
Knock the plug off. Knock that out of there. We got a hole there.
Look at that.
But this won't throw sparks anymore because I've knocked the temper out of it. So once I get the second hole that I need in here, I'm going to have to re-harden this piece of steel. Because it's now too soft for the flint to adequately shave off the slivers of steel that it would need to make the sparks. Because when I'm crashing that up against flint, the flint is shaving off slivers of the steel, and if it's hardened steel, it'll shave off substantial enough slivers that you can use those sparks to start fires or to fire your weapon. So it's the prison on the flintlock is also how the fire, the guns would fire.
Do you have a way of taking it to a specific hardness?
It's really
Harden it to
rudimentary
it,
and shit.
to
Oh,
it.
shit.
So I have-
Right.
No, maybe it's
Yeah.
not smart to
That's
figure
what I
out
want.
Right.
how to make
I want it
that.
as hard as I can get it.
I wish he was talking about with the steel, how to do that.
Yeah.
Make it into weapons.
Well, you
guns
needed
and everything.
you needed one of them furnaces to make steel, I would assume.
Because most of the time I make my flint strikers from quenching in water. I'm going to attempt that first.
Oh,
After I
yeah.
get this
All right.
next hole in there. And if that doesn't get the adequate hardness that I need, I'll re-harden in my boiled insulin. If I apply lots of heat and let it cool slowly, it'll soften a whole lot. Or just by heating it up, and but heating up it on its own is how you temper. So if I was making a knife or a tool that needed to have some hardness but also needed to have some flexibility, after I'd hardened it, I'd want to apply some more heat to it to allow it to soften some. So you, like, say something like a knife or a tool that you're going to be sharpening. If you leave it too hard, once it goes dull, it'll be difficult, it'll be next to impossible to sharpen. So some things that need to have an edge that's sharpenable, the steel needs to be tempered back soft enough. So it's soft enough that so you can actually sharpen. I'm going to heat it up again to straighten up the whole thing. And then I'll heat it up specifically to harden it. Pushed out just a little bit from punching those up instead of being perfectly flat. So I'll flatten it back out, and then instead I think I'll attempt to harden it in my water temperatures. So historically in the 18th century, or actually in centuries past, there were different quenching mediums, including brine, which is like made from salt. It's like a salty solution. But because of the salt shortage during the first 15 or so years out here on the frontier, we mainly, our quenching mediums would have been water, and then we know that they make flax out here, and by growing flax and making linen.
Do you want to stick around and watch this, or do you want to go? Okay. I'm game.
It's referred to and used all the times by the gunsmiths. And Squire Boone was an advanced gunsmith, trained in Pennsylvania, so that's why I decided to use specifically full density.
Can you get through?
You're fine, you're
Okay.
fine.
So when the metal starts glowing like a light bulb, it gets soft and squishy and malleable. Just how I form stuff. Pretty good right there. So now I'll intentionally try to bring it up to in the orange spectrum. Just a little bit into the orange spectrum, not very far in the orange spectrum. Some people like to quench a cherry red. I think with this being super high quality, high carbon file steel, I think I'm going to first try it. First enters the orange, probably around 1500 degrees or so. The way that it typically worked in the 18th century on the frontier is you could claim, because folks hadn't been claiming surface coal much yet in this region, there were surface mineral coal that could just be shoveled up without having to mine it out of the ground. But in order to expose it and access to it, typically you had to deforest an area by creating some charcoal first. And usually once the area was deforested, typically you would expose surface coal, which you could then shovel up and use for a while. So they were kind of using interchangeably for a while. And then the invention of the steam shovel in the 19th century, that all changed. People primarily did a switch to mainly coal.
Interesting.
That, if you build your what's called a tweeter, which is basically where the end of this air comes out, if you make the air come through the bottom, what's called a bottom fed tweeter, you can actually maximize coal and bank it up using certain methods and actually get more and optimize coal where it works way better than charcoal. The side air configuration, you don't get all the advantage that you get with coal. You're not pushing the mineral coal to its full potential by using the side air coal.
So what's the surface coal made out of? Are you talking about trees that were burned?
Charcoal's hardwoods that's been smoldered into charcoal.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually a couple examples of how historically they made it in this county back here. Alright, this is a good color. Alright, we got some sparks. Yeah, that's real nice. Clean that up a little bit. Should be just fine. So now, later I'll get some copper and make me some rivets. I'll put a little leather pad on each side of this.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Good job.
I appreciate that.
Nathaniel Hart. what's amazing about everything that ever transpired typically had a company with investors.
Right.
You had to have money.
Yep.
Do anything. Okay, we're almost through this. I want to go look at the stuff that they're selling in there. Don't think I'll buy anything, but anyway.
Even this guy got killed by Shawnee.
Did he?
Anytime you ventured out, you were in trouble. He said while he was out riding on July 22nd, 1782, this house is about a mile south of here.
Okay.
He was looking for lost horses. He was ambushed by Shawnee.
Yeah.
He was shot at close range, tomahawk and scalp.
Wow.
So you gotta be careful when you're over
Yeah.
the Indians looking. A lot of people die like that.
Yeah. Pretty neat though. You get a flavor of what everything was like back then. There's a gunsmith. Oh, there's somebody making candles. This is the gunsmith. This is what I'm interested in.
What kind do you make?
The long rifles,
The long rifle.
blunderbusses, all kinds of different ones.
Huh.
The one I'm about finished with is at the house. I didn't have enough room in here to spread it out because I'm staining the stock. You have to put a coat of oil on it once a day, and you got to keep it in a dust-free area. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Kind of time consuming. Huh?
yeah, oh yeah. It takes 250 hours to build one,
Yeah.
and that's buying the barrel and buying the lock. If I build those, I have to add another 100 hours on it.
So that, you would buy something like that and get started
I
with
know
it?
I'd start with a chunk of wood like that.
A chunk of wood like that?
Wow.
You do all that?
Yeah.
How do you get it to look like that? What kind of
Files
tools you got?
and rasp, and
The tools ain't here though, you don't do it here, do you?
I do some of it here, yeah.
That's how they really did it too, I guess, ain't it, back in the day?
So the long rifle, I mean, most armies used a regular musket.
The musket's similar to this.
Right. So what was the history, do you know,
Well,
of
the
the long
reason they
rifle?
used the musket, it was cheaper.
Yeah, but I mean the long rifle. What was, I mean, where was that invented or who
Well, rifling was
started?
all the way back into the 1500s.
Right,
And
but
then you
not
had
that
the-
long is where I'm getting
Right,
at.
you had the German Jaeger, which was around 31.
I know
32 inches.
Napoleonic Wars, the 95th Rifles had rifles in the British Army, but I'm specifically asking about the long
I
rifle.
know that, if you'll let
Okay.
me get there.
Oh, I'm
If you
sorry.
want me to tell you about it.
Okay, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
Okay.
They started with the Jaeger when you had your German immigrants come over here.
Okay.
Then they started what they call transitional pieces that
Okay.
had similar Jaeger type features,
Okay.
but longer barrels. They started
Okay.
in the 1760s, really starting from a 32-inch barrel, started going around
Right.
37-inch barrel.
Okay.
When you got to the 1812s, 1815, you got the longer, more slender barrels and smaller calibers.
Okay.
Because all your big game in Kentucky had been shot out.
Okay.
And they'd gone to the smaller calibers.
So, okay. You could shoot farther?
It really didn't have that much of a function. Once you got
Okay.
past about 36 inches, it didn't add any
Okay.
really thing any to it. It just,
Okay.
they were so used to seeing the longer muskets. And the reason you had longer muskets is that they still, not too long before this, they had pikemen, the long sticks
Yes.
with a pike on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had similar maneuvers with this because it's long and they put a bayonet on it.
Okay.
So they had similar, fighting techniques.
I got you.
And that's why they had them long.
Okay. Now you answered my question.
Yeah.
I thank you.
You're welcome.
Kentucky rifle is really made in Pennsylvania, right?
Well, what they call the Kentucky rifle was made in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Virginia, a lot of the coastal.
Probably Daniel Boone's one that made it famous. It's called the Kentucky rifle.
Well, it was started being called the Kentucky rifle after the Battle of New Orleans because that song come out about the basically Kentucky riflemen coming down to fight.
I took a little bacon and I took a little beans.
How tall is that Kentucky rifle normally?
It varied.
Anywhere between what, 5 and 60?
38-inch barrel all the way up to I've seen guys about as tall as me, and then they'd be like
Really?
this.
Gee,
They're
man.
really heavy too, aren't they? I mean, as far as rifles
Depending
go?
on how thickness you put your barrel.
Oh, yeah. But they'll vary. But they have
Because
rifling in the Kentucky rifle.
Yeah,
And they're
well, they
actually
wouldn't
more-
call them rifles if they wouldn't have rifling in it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
My bad. But, how, they were accurate roughly how?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm sorry. My fault.
350,
Oh,
400
really?
yards.
They were pretty
Yeah.
good time. I was
With
probably really
mine,
good.
with mine, I can stand at that fork gate and you don't want to put a target up there at the road.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
But you gotta know how high to hold it above the target.
You know your weapon.
You gotta know that you're pretty accurate. You
Windage, the whole bit. That's why they all fired together because
And
there
this
was
is the
no.
rifling machine right here.
There's a mouse
Oh,
inside that.
Yep. He'll come out and look at you.
didn't see that.
You won't see him come out and look at you.
I don't know that one.
There's a string.
He'll say hi.
There's a string.
So you take a smooth barrel and this little rifle.
You'll take a flat stock when you're making your barrel, like the bottom picture shows, you'll form it into a U shape, and then you go back to your apprentice. There it is.
Why is there a horse on the track?
Well, he would hold a rod, there it is. He'd hold a rod some longer, but similar to this. You would go back, you'd heat it, and come over on the anvil, you'd slap it in there, and he'd start forging that around that and sealing that weld together. And then you come back and you do the next section, and the next section. And then you end up with a small hole, and then you'll take it to the top, the reaming machine up there, and you're not drilling it, you're basically shaving the inside metal off a little at a time, and you can keep increasing your reamer size until you get to the caliber or gauge you want, and then you can either leave it smooth bore, or you can bring it to rifle machine.
That's amazing.
And once you get it reamed, the small reamers pretty much follow that, but as you get into the larger reamers, it pretty much straightens it out. So once you get that done, you've rough forged your octagon into it. Once you get the hole in it there, it's pretty straight, so you can center it on those, and then you start draw filing it, finishing the flats on it.
And then you rifle, that's all that was it?
Uh-huh.
And how does this rifle, what is it, a piece of?
Well,
Or is it just- what
the
makes it?
cutting head's down here.
And it just
That's,
cuts
see the rib on there?
this thing? Yeah.
That's the rib, that's gonna be your twist. That's what is gonna follow,
All that,
cut your
basically.
twist.
So rifle is more or less a fairly long thing, just like
Right,
that. It ain't
right.
really like this. Not like a quarter,
Right.
just something to get that thing spinning through.
Yeah, they found with a round ball, your accuracy was 1 in 60 was good accuracy.
Yeah.
1 inch twist, 1 inch full twist and 60 inches.
So how many days or months did it take to make
Takes
one?
about 50 hours to make a barrel.
Okay. But the whole rifle though?
No, that's just making the
Just the
barrel.
barrel.
Right.
Yeah, and then you have another 50 hours
Okay.
around that to make the lock mechanism.
Okay.
It takes a lot of filing.
Yeah.
And then once you forge your metal and all.
And then the wood?
Yeah, took 250 hours to
Okay.
start there and going through.
Okay.
Doing all the inlays.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Neat stuff. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I thought he didn't understand what I was saying when he went to Jaegers. If you give me time, I'll tell you. Yeah, I know. Okay, back to where we started. Let's go take a look at their. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We came out.
I knew, but I didn't look at it.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't go in
Well,
there.
I don't think you can't. They're locked.
There might not be nothing in it.
They're locked. We're good. I just cleared it with. I just cleared it with the boys. That I ain't gonna make it.
You want to get back by 2 anyway.
Nah, not a big deal. I thought we went in these. We didn't? Oh, you're right. To see the movie. You're right. Here's the iron collection. I don't know if it was any that they found.
Probably that's like what a rock barrels would look like.
The militia. The British. I don't know if these were any in the archaeological find.
No, there's some old shit.
It's just
Some old iron skimmer, a couple big hatchets.
he pointed to the other way where he said was
What?
the ironsmith. He pointed to another building where
Oh, that's that guy that we saw?
yeah.
I thought he was down.
Yeah. Well, this is where all the stuff that they would have made. There's the hinges they talked about. Keys. How interesting. Don't know what those were used for.
You don't know. What is that?
Uh-huh. Don't know. I wanted to see where they dug shit up at. I bet you that's in that museum that it's locked up. You know, I'm gonna ask the lady in the store. Office.
This is pretty typical of the militia and or Virginia regulars. They roast food stand. It's
What's that made out of? Cotton?
it's made out of flax.
Flax.
We have
Wow.
a big flax farm.
Yeah, we were over
You
there.
actually grow.
We can grow flax.
Really?
Our spinner's not here today, but she's got several sheep and
Uh-huh.
other type of animals that produce wool or some type of fiber, and she weaves that, turns it into things. We try to represent the period here that the fort was occupied, which is 1775 to 1785.
Uh-huh.
After that, people started moving out once the war ended. Here on the frontier in Virginia, Kentucky was part of Virginia, you had to serve in the militia from age 15 to 60 years of age. You had to show up at your lieutenant's request with a musket, a bayonet, 2 pounds of lead, and 4 pounds of powder. And if you didn't, the state would furnish you that and take it from your very meager pay. Typically, it would take you 10 months to pay off the clothing and firearms they
Wow.
gave to you. But the militia could be called up for extended service for a long period or short service. Here, they typically called them up for about 90 days at a time. But when Native Americans were close, everybody was called up. Most people here in this part of the state that lost their lives during the Revolutionary War were outside of the fort, farming or traveling to or from somewhere. Very, very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been reading.
I mean about some of these little battles you never even heard of or stuff like that before.
Well, a good example is Daniel Boone's younger brother, Squire Boone, who's a blacksmith here and a gunsmith, and a very good one. He had business over with the commissary that serviced both Fort Boonesborough and Fort Logan. So he took a man with him, and they went a circuitous route to Fort Logan. But about 3 miles out from the fort, they were ambushed by a group of Shawnee. They had to dismount. They got behind a large tree, and there was probably Squire said he couldn't determine exactly, but he saw 4 plumes of smoke at the initial engagement, which that's at least 4 people fired at him. So they got behind a big tree, Boone on the left and his companion on the right, and he was kneeling trying to reload his gun, and one of the Native Americans slipped around their right flank, shot the guy next to Boone. He fell on Boone, pinned him to the ground. He couldn't get his rifle out from under him. He was able to get his short sword, his kato, out, and as the Indian rushed him with his tomahawk, he struck him in the head. And Boone was able to stick his sword in him a few inches. And the Indian tried to pull back to strike another blow toward the head. And Squire Boone grabbed him by his loincloth and pulled him till the hilt ran in. And that must have caused enough shock that he let go. Boone suffered from headaches and all kind of other things the rest of his life. But that's how unexpected it was. I mean, and Fort Logan probably had 30 or 40 guys out scouting for Indians. This is big country.
That's big. That's what made
And it's
me
rolling. You can get lost out here.
It's so big. Like they said, Boone traveled 4 or 5 days from when he got captured by Indians down here to Boonesborough. I know he knows how to go south and east, but how the hell did he end up right here at Boonesborough, not over there and keep going? How do they know that?
Boone was a long hunter, and he understood how to navigate by night sky. And he also was very observant. He had been a surveyor, so he was very observant of where landmarks were and rivers were. And here, the buffalo roads were defined. Some were as wide as a modern road out there. Others were maybe 3 or 4 feet wide. But there were Indian warpaths and Indian paths to hunting areas and licks. And Boone tried to stay away from those. So his continual trying not to be seen while he was hunting led him to be very stealthy in his ability to move around. He liked moving around on the riverbanks where the water was 1 foot or 2 feet deep and the cane was pretty thick. He could conceal both his horse and him. If somebody saw him, he could just immediately dive
cane
into the
breakers
cane.
everywhere back in the day.
They were.
Most of that's gone now, but
There were. We've got a lot of cane here.
Where at?
It's in storage.
Oh, okay.
We've got 2 wigwams started at the far end of the hill here.
Yeah, I got to see that years ago.
Well, these are new.
Newer?
Yeah,
Okay.
they haven't been covered yet, but
Okay.
we ran out of time.
So we went to go see the rock that Squire Boone inscribed. We couldn't see it.
The courthouse was there. It's in a courthouse. You ever heard of Squire Boone Rock? Supposedly he signed his initial or name on it.
Yeah.
Well, we have an antler in there that Daniel Boone signed.
Where's that at? At the museum? The museum's closed.
We
Oh,
can
at
see
the
it
store?
Going out, we can see it.
Yeah, it's under the elk that's in there.
At the store.
If you go in, you
Yeah.
can't miss the elk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a
Supposedly he signed.
Okay.
Daniel
It's a
Boone
6x6. No,
inscribed.
he shot the elk. The elk that the antler is in the case.
Yeah.
He shot that in 1778, but the elk was shot by me in 2004.
Okay.
So, just like the deer in there was taken by my in the orientation where they run the film. I shot that deer with a 45 caliber.
Did you?
tomahawk.
Cool.
Yeah, I've always been around farms, hunting, outdoor tradition. Grew up out in the country.
Neato.
I think I'm the last generation where a mother or father would trust their child well enough to let them take a shotgun and go off in the woods for half a day.
Yeah.
You know, 12 or 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Today, defects would probably be posted on your door when you came home. Right. Want to talk to you.
Oh, there's no doubt.
But Boone did that as a child.
So what militia, did they go by companies?
They went by company. Typically, they went by the company.
Yeah.
Most militia companies went by the name of the captain.
Okay.
Here at Fort Boonesborough, there was Daniel Boone's company, John Holder's company from North Carolina,
Okay.
and Charles Watkins' company from Virginia.
And then how many men was in a company?
By the time that enlistments were half over, around 50 men.
Okay.
When formed, as many as 70,
Okay.
89. Nathaniel Hart's Ranger Company was from North Carolina. He built the first home outside the fort.
Okay.
It was vandalized in 1998 and burned. We have the family hearth over there.
Really?
It's a block house.
That's a shame.
We found it and had it moved. But Hart's company, he had 28 mounted Rangers.
Okay.
So at any one time, the men assigned to any of these forts might be as many as 200, but there might be only 50 or 60
Right.
in the fort.
But they stayed as company. They didn't form like battalions or anything like that.
They did when they went with George Rogers Clark across the
Okay.
river.
To Vincennes and.
Yeah, the need for militia grew, and the need for additional officers were needed. So they created. Kentucky was divided into 3 counties.
Okay.
And then toward the end of the war, 5 counties. And that's how Boone became a colonel. He was promoted after the court martial he suffered here. He moved across the river and founded Boone Station.
Okay.
And being a major now, he commanded all the troops in Fayette County. And when promoted lieutenant colonel, there was only one person in the state with a higher rank, and that was General Clark.
Okay.
Clark
John
Jr.
Rogers Clark.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, he's
Yeah,
famous.
his little brother became famous. I mean,
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
Clark had-
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah,
he
but
died
George
almost-
is pretty
he died
well
almost
known.
in poverty. He had to live with his daughter.
Really?
Yeah, he, as many others, helped finance their men's campaigns, and it broke them financially.
Really?
And it was common.
But weren't they given like land for their service in the Revolutionary War?
They were. The problem is that most of the land here in this area were bought by people through the Transylvania Company. And the Cherokee didn't own the land, didn't occupy the land. They sold the land to the Transylvania Company.
Okay.
It was a land swindle from the very beginning.
Yeah, there's more of this because they didn't recognize Transylvania or something like that, did they? So that all these people come in and they say, you really don't own that because you're not a legitimate company.
It's kind of like a group of wealthy businessmen in New York bought Long Island for $24 worth of beach.
Right.
Well, for 2,000 pounds of trade goods, Transylvania Company bought 22 million acres here in Kentucky. Except the Virginia colonial government overruled it, and so did the Virginia legislature.
Yeah, that happened all over. We're from Cincinnati, and the land between the Miamis was a Sims, and he had all the way up past Dayton, from the Ohio River past Dayton, and that was all taken away from him.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but
most
a lot
of the
of
Tories
it was.
lost their land at the end of the Revolution.
Yeah,
they had been
right.
openly hostile. Boone testified against one of them here.
Yeah.
And they took his 400 acres from him.
Yeah, they all went to Canada, didn't they? Most of the Tories.
No, a lot of them just stayed.
Did they? And they just were outcasts.
I had family on the same side.
Really?
They just didn't talk about their wartime experience.
Yeah, they weren't shunned after.
Most moved.
That? Okay.
My family moved.
They would never have known then, right? If they moved, people wouldn't know.
They moved from North Carolina all the way to Mississippi.
Okay.
As soon as Mississippi opened for movement. And Mississippi became a state before Alabama. The Creeks were very hostile and did not want to negotiate any more of their property.
Gotcha.
And that caused the Creek Indian War at the same time the War of 1812 was going. So Andrew Jackson, on his way to whipping the British at New Orleans, he stopped and beat on the Creeks pretty bad there in Alabama, forced them to surrender. He broke their power. He killed in excess of 1,000 warriors.
Jeez.
And that pretty much broke their power. But the Creeks were like everybody else. They took their land from other tribes that were there first.
Yeah, that was typical.
Their DNA and oral histories relate they came from northern New Mexico, across Texas, through Louisiana and Mississippi into Alabama and Georgia.
Interesting.
And all the way to Savannah, actually.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, James Oglethorpe, the founder of Savannah, had extremely good relationships with the Creek chiefs. And Scottish traders married into their families pretty heavily.
Okay.
So they didn't cause a lot of problems until 1813, 1840.
Right, when they seen all their land being taken. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
Well, it's like, as a culture, you have to make a decision. If you fight, will your culture disappear? Because
Correct.
of superior numbers and odds. If you don't fight, is it going to disappear?
Right. And they were a warrior culture. Almost all Indian nations were.
Well, you couldn't be a leader
Warrior
without
culture.
being pretty smart and
Right.
typically a good war leader.
Yeah.
Scalping had been done since the dawn of man.
Right.
It's proof that you killed an enemy. You can go back to camp,
Right.
sing your songs about how you fought in combat.
Yeah, it's like Vietnam. Go prove your kill, right?
Yeah, I had a mixed brother-in-law that kept trophies.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Ears,
gentlemen, I gotta get
noses.
some water.
Yeah,
That's fine,
yeah.
we're getting ready
Thank
to
you
go
so
down.
much
Thanks
for.
the information. It's really good.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you, man.
So we got it. So we get to see an antler inscribed by Mr. Boone.
That's pretty nice.
He is. Should have asked him to shoot it off.
What?
Give us a demo shooting that thing. I'm sure he ain't allowed.
Earlier, I was thinking,
Yeah. He ain't allowed. He surely ain't allowed. Only on special occasions. Can you see
you
it?
see a D. I guess it is a B.
It's in there.
Yeah, I see it.
Yep.
Why don't they have, look. Oh, here it is right here. Let's see what this is.
Oh, it says it.
There's donate. I don't say what it is, but.
So you would think that would be a prized possession. Yeah. Oh, they got more stuff back here. Always like there's a little hash pipe. No, it's a whistle. Thought it was a hash pipe. Ah, this is just nothing. Nothing. Well, they got these neat things. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. Did you ever go to Seven Caves?
Yeah.
Remember Seven Caves? They would always have the Indian stuff. We'd come home with spears and tomahawks and stuff. Oh, here's a Twitty. Tom turkey. And then we bought our kids raccoon hats once. I think we still got one laying around somewhere. Yeah, it's a little bit expensive for a joke. Okay. Hi, how you doing? Oops, sorry, didn't want to get you in my film. We're at a restaurant here. Just got done having some good burgers. And right here is where Jemima Boone and her girlfriends, the Callaway sisters, got captured by the Shawnee. It was through down here in Licking. I don't know how far down we can go without falling into Licking. Yeah, a lot of erosion. But at one time, according to a picture I've seen, they were right. Oh, here we go. That looks kind of scary. I don't know what the hell that was.
Oh, that was for the ferry road stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
They was there a long time.
Yeah, so the lady who bought.
Look on the other side too. Something they built there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So the lady who owns this was explaining to us. She's kind of a history buff herself, and was explaining. She owns all this land, by the way, here over to here, and part of it is where that incident occurred. Very good burgers, though, if you're ever down here. It's right across the street from the sign. We're going to take a walk up there after this. By the way, this is the Kentucky River, if you need to know. We were debating if the river was this wide back in them days. Don't have a clue. A boat dock. Now you gotta be careful so I don't slide all the way down. Not safe. Yeah, we'll chance it. If we go down and drown, oh well. Oh, it's getting a little scary. I know. So I wonder if this is used anymore. It's spooky. And there's they mine rocks up on the other side. That's all that noise going on. I don't know if they make pebbles or whatever. It does seem wide as hell, but this was the lady up at this restaurant was telling us that there was a ferry here, and one of the co-owners was killed by Indians right here prior to them building the ferry. Interesting, but I'm going back up. Me too. Look at they got, I don't know what that, I guess that's to keep it from drifting away. Those wires there keep it from drifting away. Now I gotta watch it so I don't drop my phone or I'll have to be going down in the water and picking it up. See? Some other wires there for something. Look at that. I wonder what those wires go to. Ah. Okay. Doesn't look like that's used much anymore. You want to go back?
Same trail. These Indians came that far down here and they kidnapped them, and then they fucking go.
Yeah.
Now they gotta go 150 miles north.
Yeah, and then Boonesborough is up this way, right?
Right back there, around the bend
That
of the river.
way. So
It's right against the river,
took
so
off.
Yeah, they would have came right across it.
Yeah.
He would have had to cross the river because he's on the south side.
Right.
Come over here, and try to follow the trail.
And
They
retrieve
sent the other guy down
to
farther, they said, to cross at a crossing to try to cut him off in case they decided that, but they didn't do
okay.
that. So he just.
But didn't you say that one guy retrieved the canoe?
The little kid does. They just
The little
11
kid.
year old kid with
Okay.
the canoe back, so they hit the canoe.
All right.
And then the Indians hit it north, and they
Yeah.
didn't hit a follow.
Don't look like this goes back much.
They would have followed the river to a creek, and then they would have hit it north.
Right. Do you want to try driving down and see if we can
All
find
the
the
way
creek?
to Ohio.
It doesn't go that far. Well, it goes across
Well, that's
at
the
that
road-
restaurant.
We came down this way.
Yeah, we came this way.
You think it would be on the map?
Yeah, the creek would be down that way. But there's a big hill here. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a hill over here. And how they could have went up that creek. Unless there was a gap there. Don't know. Okay, so now I'm going to ask this lady to show us how they make their hamburgers on a slab of salt. They heat it up to what degrees did she say they heat that salt thing up? It was hot. And the hamburgers are actually good. She explained that the meat that the hamburgers is locally grown and butchered. And I had the beer cheese hamburger. It's very good. And 2 glasses of craft beer, which was also very good. So I'm going to go see that, and then I'm going to go across the street to see the marker. Excuse me. Belching beer. So Hall's on the River, which was a famous restaurant for years and years and years, had really good food because I ate there 2 times before. Well, I ate there 3 times. 3rd time I ate there, terrible. Don't go. If you're gonna come down this way, come to this one. It's right off the main drag. It's very nice. So I'm gonna go ask this lady to show us the salt. So I'm gonna hang up.
Grill and cook on the stone.
Right.
It's on the salt block. Everything else is.
That is interesting,
you know.
that they cook their hamburger on these salt blocks.
Yes.
And it gives it a fantastic taste.
It doesn't
awesome.
make it salty, right?
No, it's
it doesn't
good.
Make it salty at all.
Very good.
Somehow-
And you're gonna be in my video.
Somehow it keeps its complexity.
Yeah.
And it doesn't burn up. Like if you put
Right.
that on a regular heat as high as he's cooking it, it would just burn it up.
Right.
But that does not going through that salt stone.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
We just heat the salt.
Huh?
Put heat underneath it and it cooks.
Yes.
Yeah,
See that?
Yeah, that's the salt though.
Forever.
Just
The
don't
only-
run the clean right here. Just keep cooking.
Yeah,
on top of it.
they're antimicrobial salt is, so it just keeps cleaning itself.
Right.
All we do is take a washcloth and wash it down.
Yeah.
They will last forever. They will split sometimes if you cook a lot on
Where
them.
do you get them at?
He had them, he developed them
Oh.
and put them in a kiln, and so they don't blow
Oh, so
up.
he makes.
He made them.
What?
He imported
Awesome.
what, from Pakistan? Himalaya Mountains.
Damn.
Yes. He brought it over here by the crates. Cratefuls. We also have a shot glass. You should try it. Oh my gosh. You'll be showing.
Should I? Yeah, show me.
Salt, we actually have a spray, skin conditioner, that'll heal eczema, psoriasis. anything
Really?
wrong with your skin, it heals it rapidly.
Yeah, we're about everything salt here.
That's neat.
One more thing I want to show you too.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Check this out. This is the women's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
All salt stones on the wall.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, here.
You feel
Sorry,
free to go in
Tom.
there. Men go in there a lot.
Yeah.
All of these are individual salt stones
Wow.
that he, of course,
Yeah.
we didn't kiln these because we're not cooking with them.
Right.
But he has had them heated up to here.
Uh-huh.
And so when you're literally in here with the heat going on, it just opens up your airways. You can really breathe. Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, he's kind of a designer, and he pulled that piece of rock. That's the top to that sink
Right.
there across the road off of the bank. And then that's my mother-in-law's spinning
Yeah.
sewing machine.
Man, my mom had
One
one
more
of those.
thing, in the bathroom, in the men's bathroom,
Yeah.
you have to look up.
Okay. Yeah. And it's a different color light.
Yeah, these things come in different colors. The lights do.
Yeah.
We just have them different colors.
Oh, it changes.
Yeah. This one in here does too. We just don't have
How cool.
the same setting. Okay, here's our salt shot glass.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
actually pour
Huh? You pour tequila or whatever you want to drink in
Right.
there. You don't let it sit long because it will give it a salty taste.
Yeah.
But if you use that, you don't have to use anything else. You don't have to do the salt.
Right.
Oh, like
rim or
with
lemon
tequila.
or
Yeah, I
anything.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yes.
Especially for
You
tequila.
want to try a swig in it?
I will.
You will.
He's
okay.
driving.
Okay.
I can't take a chance.
We'll just give you a.
How much I owe you?
Nothing. We'll
Oh,
just give
okay.
you a sample.
Okay. That'll be perfect.
Give you a little sample, right, Lois? Yep.
I'm game.
You game?
I'm game.
Game. Good for you. How pretty that green that river is today. Isn't it gorgeous? It doesn't get that color.
Well,
really
you're just
off.
going to give me a tad because I really don't want a lot. And just to get
Well, I
a
am
swig.
just gonna give you
Just a swig.
What I just said was a swig.
There you go.
That's enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can, some people lick that before they drink it, but you don't have to. Just drink it right
Okay.
out. Drink it right up,
Go.
and you will notice.
Yeah.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It just, and we do sell these.
Do you?
Yeah. $29.99.
That, I'm not a tequila drinker, but I
Okay,
had to
yeah.
try it.
Yeah.
But
It makes good gifts.
Yeah, good with it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah,
Well-
when you go into the restrooms, you see this, the thing of
Oh.
salt. We wash your hands with that. Because
Oh.
you know,
Yeah.
you can literally,
I'm not here for drying.
yeah.
you don't even have to dry your hands. Just let it dry naturally,
So-
and you will noticeably find
Right now, if I
how.
put my hand in that salt in,
Yeah, put it in water first, and put it in there, and just kind of rub it together.
So we were wondering if there's a site that shows where Daniel Boone recovered his daughter. Is there anything around that?
Other
No.
than that historical marker there, which is close, right across
That's
the road.
just where they got captured. But
Well,
where did
we
Boone get
covered
them?
it. I'd have to.
Yeah, we couldn't find
I
anything.
know. It's
so
like up Strode Creek or something.
yeah, okay.
I
But
really,
you probably couldn't get there in a car or what have
Yeah, I
you.
really don't know, but I have one of my good friends is a historian around here,
Okay.
and I could ask him.
Yeah,
Can we
yeah.
call him and ask him real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. Ask him, and then we'll come back because we're
Okay.
gonna go see. At least I want to see the. I don't want to tell
the marker
for
across
him.
the street.
Yeah, I want to see the
Yeah, you
marker.
can just walk right out there.
Yeah, and so if he can kind of direct us, that would be cool. You just gotta ask,
Where's
right?
that oh, it's over there. I see it.
Yeah. Way over there. I'm wondering if I'm sure that's private property over there, but I'm wondering if that slope's got a better gradual slope down to the river. Yeah, but we wouldn't be able to go there. You can see the sign right there. Then we're gonna come back and see if she can get a hold of her historian friend. So again, this is where Jemima Boone, as a teenager, and her friends, the Callaway daughters, were captured by the Shawnee. So let's see if this slopes down. I'm gonna say it doesn't. Could have been down that way. Could have been down that way. Yeah, right. It doesn't matter.
So there's probably fast. They were sneaking along the river, heading toward Boone, go see if they could cross some.
Right.
And all said, "Oh, look, they're coming with 3 cars." So they just lay in wait, and they came close.
Yeah.
They jumped down,
Right.
rammed them.
You would think that their parents would not have allowed them to do that. But, you know, teenage girls.
Started taking them up, but they were screaming by the top of their lungs.
Yeah.
So they heard about it
Her-
before. Something
right.
happened after.
Yeah,
Well,
which is
that
kind of amazing. So Boonesborough can't be that far away. If they heard them scream. True.
When we come up around the bend, right?
That's right. You're right. You're right. So it wasn't that far. So now we're going to go back and see if the local historian knows if we can drive somewhere to see where Daniel got the girls back. I'm going to say no, but you never know. Back to this. And then we'll get the name of this restaurant. So if anybody wants to come down this way to visit for themselves, I got a restaurant name. She's so sweet, so nice. And you got to see how they cook their hamburgers on salt. I've never heard of that before. And here's the name of the restaurant. It's called Waterfront Grill and Gathering, as you can see. And she got a hold of the historian, so we'll see.
A couple of guys here, they're having fun checking things out. So, yeah. Did you have a good time yesterday?
Okay, she's having a conversation. So we're thinking that the creek that Tom mentioned is that away towards Halls on the River restaurant. But anyway, hanging up. I'm running out of battery power.
I am too, dude.
So this is gonna have to be it for video.
Check this out.
But here it is.
They surveyed this site in 1774 before it even came to Boonesborough.
What? You're kidding me. 1774. Wow.
So in 1780, they left Boonesborough, came up here. They lived in some crude shelters, built a little stockade.
Yeah.
By 83, 15, 20 families. His brother Everett, who was killed with him. Oh, wait a minute. But his brother Everett got killed in 1780.
Okay.
But he must have lived here. Maybe he lived here in 80, and that's when they went to get salt.
Right.
And they came back.
Oh, and then there's over here. See, I did this wrong again. There's more over here. And before I run out of juice, but this is probably the marker up there, Tom.
Yeah,
I know. You got to hop the fence.
Wait a minute. That's his private property.
Yes, I know. We could hop the fence. Yeah, I think we can, but anyway, who knows? And there's too many Boones to keep. Eldest brother Daniel Boone, renowned Kentucky pioneer. So he's buried here, maybe? I don't know. He killed at the Battle of Blue Licks. His son Thomas. Daniels. Samuel Boone's son was killed at Blue Licks too. Yeah.
Well, I don't know who Samuel Boone is. He's his brother, I guess. That's why you don't know about it.
But we don't know how to get over there, and there's a damn sign there. And can you make it? My big fat head might not make it. You gonna do it? You gonna try it? I'll go with you. Hell with it. That's why we're here. I don't know if I can get through though. You're taller than me. And taller. I can't get my legs in there. Tell me what it says. Tom, I chickened out. I didn't chicken out. I can't get through. Get my nuts cut off in there. Hell with it. I'm going. Can I get through? See, it hurts like hell. I can't do it. God damn it. Yeah, you get the gist. He'll tell us when he gets back. I didn't have this going, but they excavated this and found proof that this was all here. Now, uncovering our pioneer past, and there's no way getting in here other than cheating. So if you think about it, Daniel and his relatives stood right on this ground as we are traipsing through here. I gotta watch my battery power. Almost done. I think this is the last thing we're gonna see.